everyone, and welcome back. One of the most asked questions I get is, how do I advertise and bring in customers to my roadside flower stand? And if you're new here, hi, my name is Christy. I'm located in Western Massachusetts, and this is my second year selling flowers at my roadside flower stand. And I will let you know right away, it was very slow and steady. Last year, I didn't open up until the end of July, and then this year, for my second year, I'm already 8 weeks in to selling, and it is just the July 4th weekend. So I've been making improvements. I am still learning, and I still have people just finding out about my roadside flower stand, and they live on the other side of the street in this like little cul-de-sac neighborhood. I actually just had someone stop by with their daughter, and she said that she found me because I posted on a community page on Facebook, and she had no idea that I was just 1 minute down the road, and she was so excited that she saw that post. So I am still bringing in new people, and they are still so close to me, and they have no idea. So I'm going to tell you how I like to advertise, and I will tell you there is nothing paid. It's either word of mouth, posting on social media, or sharing my flowers around the school that I work at. There's just a couple of things that I do, and I am just slowly trying to bring in customers and trying to maintain them as well. So one way to bring in people to my roadside flower stand is making sure that my roadside flower stand is visible. So if you're coming either direction, you are able to see it. It's a nice, vibrant blue, and that blue actually originated from my front door. When we purchased our house, the previous owners left a ton of paint cans, and I came across that because I was just on a budget. I didn't want to buy a gallon of paint. And I love the color of my front door, and I figured, why not use it? I use that for all of my logos, my marketing, anything that is business related is going to be that blue. Social media posts, you name it. I make sure that I'm staying super consistent with that blue. And so that way, if you're driving from either side of the street, you're able to see it. We did make sure that it was still pushed back off the road because it is so big and heavy. I cannot move it back in. So that means when it comes to winter time and we have the plows, and we just got like 3 feet of snow last year, I don't want it to be damaged. It actually did get picked up a couple of times by the wind. So since then, we had to make sure that we tied it down really good with some extra stakes. But other than that, all of the trees and the shrubs that were in the area, we cleared everything. Even the trees that are currently there, we limbed them up. That way nothing was blocking my roadside flower stand. And I used to have a yard sign out front that said Christy's Bloom Bar. However, I did change my logo from last year. And with that, I am still waiting for my new one to come. I think it's supposed to come this week, so I'm super excited for that. It's just another way to just draw people in. And I just wanted to make sure that my roadside flower stand was attractive, inviting, nice and vibrant. I kept the background white, so that way hopefully all the colors of the flowers would pop, especially when I'm taking pictures. And then I even made my own little display background with the same white and blue, just so that everything just stays super consistent when I post them, say on social media. One thing I want to make sure that I also do is keep it consistently stocked. I do have the same hours, so everyone knows that at 9 a.m. on Saturday, all of the wrapped bouquets and mason jars will be going out. And I like to post a little preview around 8:30 just to try and grab some attention and just remind people that, again, at 9 o'clock, I will be opening up my flower stand. So around 8:50, I'm rushing back and forth. I have a little few decorations that I'll put on the background, and then all of my mason jars are nicely wrapped in uniform with the same paper and my little logo sticker. And then I put my buckets at the bottom, and I'm always constantly going outside as well and checking in on things. So whether that be I have to rearrange and move some mason jars from the bottom to the top shelf, or just bring some forward. And I'd like to give updates as well. So say I put everything out at 9 o'clock, usually around 1 o'clock p.m., I will go out and give an update and post it. And then I'll usually bring everything in around 7:30 p.m. when everyone's kind of done with their walks around the neighborhood. And then on Sunday, if I've anything left over, I'm going to make sure that I put them back out because I want to stay consistent. I can't tell you how many times where I feel like, oh, it's Saturday, I still have 5 left, and then they sell out. And then on Sunday, I have people messaging me asking, hey, do you have any more flowers? Can you make me one? And I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I cut everything that I could. I hope you can come back again next Saturday when I'm open again at 9 a.m. So just making sure you're consistent and having it nice and fully stocked is definitely going to keep those customers returning and coming back. So when it comes to marketing, I just use my Facebook business page and my Instagram page. I usually will just post on Instagram and have it shared to Facebook, but sometimes with Instagram, I'm trying to have it to be a little bit more cohesive and, my grid pretty. So if I just have a couple of random things, I'll only post on Facebook, but then I'll take those same posts and I'll share them in my Instagram story. So Facebook is my best way of getting in touch with my local community. Instagram, it's more so with friends and family that ended up following me, maybe a couple of local people, and then more so I would say Instagram is for like other people that are interested in maybe flower farming or selling flowers or having some kind of a bloom bar. So you can pick and choose or do both just to try and get new customers. But again, Facebook is usually my go-to. Now, when posting on Facebook, I also make sure that I tag my personal page. I might do my locations. People know what town I'm in. And one way I've been getting a lot of customers, not just from my friends and family by posting on my personal page, is that I use the Facebook communities. So if you have one for your town or city, we have about 2 of them. One is more for advertising your business, and then the other one is more for like local things that are happening in town. And sometimes I get those ones approved as well. So I'll usually post at 9 a.m. saying, hey, flower stand is open. I give my address. That is always on my second line of my post because people sometimes don't like to read your little blurbs and then we'll be like, hey, well, where are you located? So I have found that if I do on the first line, flower stand is open on 7/4, and then I'll put my address on the second line, it kind of just lets people know that they're seeing a more recent post or if they're seeing a later post, and then they see my address right there so they don't have to read on if they don't feel like it. So I will take these and I'll post them in the advertising group in my town. And then, like I said, sometimes in like the more what's happening and discussion, they will approve that, or like local eggs or blueberries. We have a big farming community here, so they tend to share that. I am in a little town of less than 6,000 people, I would say, if I had to guess. And it is just lots of farming. We have like apple orchards, we have hay, we have cows, you name it, we probably have it. We have peaches, we have a blueberry and a strawberry farm, and there's just a lot happening. So people really like to support anything that is local and fresh here in town. So as I mentioned, I do like to post bouquets that I'm making. I have also found that I will post little time lapses of myself making the mason jars. Those usually get a lot of views, especially if you post that as a reel. It will bring in some people that are not local because they just really liked what you're doing, but it's a good way for people to see more of the behind the scenes. I'll show myself maybe during the week if I am pruning, if I am planting something, some flowers that are in bloom that they could expect to see, but just trying to keep it kind of consistent. I would say Wednesday to Sunday, I might take like Monday and Tuesday off. Wednesday, show them what's happening. Thursday, show them a few blooms. Friday, let them know what I'm harvesting. And then Saturday, I'll post everything that is going out with a little sneak peek, maybe about 30 minutes to an hour beforehand. And then I will let them know on Sunday if I do have anything left over. So being consistent, I know sometimes it can feel like it's a little bit much and you're just like throwing everything out to them and they might get a little annoyed seeing your pictures, but I promise you, just give it some time. I mean, I'm someone that just really doesn't care. So if they want to, they can just move on, or sometimes people will be like, oh, okay, that's really nice, so I would love to stop by. So just trying to keep them in the loop. I think people really like the behind the scenes. And I also, which I know not everyone likes to do, but I find that any of my posts with bouquets or anything with my kids in it gets the most attention. So I will post maybe my daughter an hour ahead with a bouquet and just saying, hey, my little helper is ready to stock the flower stand. And I get more likes or comments on that than if I just post the bouquet all by itself. So if that's something that you feel like doing, you can even do it with like your pet or something, or yourself. As long as there is a face, I feel like you get more attention on Facebook. And again, usually with Instagram, I'll share it to my stories more so, or on my personal page. I will also make sure I tag myself. So staying consistent, making sure that you're visible from the road, and then just sharing. I don't share, I would say, every single week to the community, but you can also try Facebook Marketplace. I know sometimes I always check Marketplace. I will see some other people that are local in other towns saying that they have stuff for sale. I personally have not used Marketplace. I usually just use my business page, my personal page, and then the community groups. Sometimes you can post to neighboring towns. I tend not to do that, but I do find that also friends and family sharing my posts on Facebook, because it's a business page, it is public, they are able to share. I get a lot of new eyes and customers that way as well. I will say that besides posting on social media, the best way that I've been finding customers is word of mouth. And that is how I've been finding some of these events I've been doing, whether it was a graduation, dance recital, surprise birthday party. These were all from word of mouth. One was like my mom's neighbor. Another one was a neighbor across the street from me who has, I will say, never bought any single flowers, but I did do her granddaughter's graduation party. So that was very awesome to do. I am also a teacher, and so a lot of the parents know that I do this as well because they follow me and their friends. So I did a few dance recitals. So word of mouth is really, really huge, and you cannot underestimate the power of word of mouth. So here is a great example of word of mouth. I had a customer come this weekend, and she bought 4 mason jar arrangements because she was going to a friend's party, and she gave them all out. And then when I posted on the community page that I had my flower stand open, one of the local residents said, "Hey, I just received such a thoughtful gift. One of my friends just gave me one of your flower arrangements, and they were lovely, and I can't wait to stop by." So just like that, I was able to get a new, hopefully, customer because of word of mouth, that they were giving it to their friend, and that she also saw it on the community page and took the time to let me know. So that was very exciting for me because I'm still, as I said, in my year 2, and it's only the beginning of July. It wasn't even open this time last year, trying to bring in those new customers. So I thought that was really cool and a great story to share. And one thing is not only having a nice display and pretty flowers, you want to make sure that they last. So even something as learning the proper conditioning, when to be able to harvest things, which I am still learning right now. So even just making sure that your customers are happy because you're giving them a good product is going to bring those repeat customers back time after time. So don't get discouraged if maybe you only have a couple here or there. I probably have maybe 5 repeat customers, I would say, that specifically use Venmo. So if they're using cash, I'm not quite sure, but it's just something slow and steady. And I would say my first repeat customer used to be my mom. She is my best supporter, I will say. I don't have to rely on just friends and family. If you do a good job with your harvesting and conditioning and you're putting out good product, you will be getting those repeat customers of people that you don't know from your neighborhood. And lastly, with word of mouth is when I was doing events, I always made sure to have my logo. So even though I was doing those jelly jar arrangements, I did give her some of my business cards. Same thing with the birthday party. I do have business cards. I don't put them in my mason jars, but for events, or I do have a few at my stand, I will put a business card out there so people can feel free to email me if they have any questions. I actually had someone reach out to see if I did bloom bars. I told her that is something that I'm working on. Here is my pricing if you're interested. So having even sometimes just a business card is a great way to get the word out about your roadside flower stand. So something to think about, even though you are maybe just growing flowers to sell at your roadside flower stand, maybe is, do you want to expand? Do you want to do events? Do you want to provide DIY buckets? Do you want to do a party? Are you thinking of doing weddings in your future? This is just something to think about because I feel like the more flowers I have, the more opportunities that I'm able to say yes to. Last year, I had what I thought was a good amount of flowers, but it turned out I really needed more. I had to turn down some like DIY buckets or some events that people were asking for because I just didn't have the flowers. So this year, I prepped and probably did about like 10 times more flowers than I did this past year. And then even for next year, I'm already thinking about expanding and how I can do better and make more so that I can do these events. events are a great way to make more money, have a reliable sale. So I know I'm going to be making that extra profit. And especially because even though I do tend to have to pull some things that I don't grow, a lot of the flowers I do grow. So I make sure that I have my majority of my flowers for that event, and then know whatever is left over, even if I'm only putting out 5, say, wrapped bouquets or mason jars, that is going to be plenty, just to make sure I still have that consistency if someone decides to drive by at 9 a.m. on a Saturday morning. So one of the things I was very proud of this year was doing my large arrangement. It just pushed me out of my comfort zone, but I made sure that I posted that I am capable of doing them in case if someone is thinking about having a large arrangement at their party one day. Right now, I am not booked for anything, which is still kind of nice. I can focus on my roadside flower stand. So having the availability in flowers to do these extra events is a great way to have your business grow, because then if you post, say, pictures of all your jelly jar arrangements that you did for a party, it might have someone think, oh, okay, maybe if I need that one day, she can do it. Or I did do some dance recital bouquets. I posted a picture that I did some for some dancers, and I did have 2 people reach out because they were doing a dance recital and wanted to do a bouquet. So taking pictures, getting out of your comfort zone and showing that you can do different things is going to produce new customers in your future. You might not see it right now, but you never know, even if it's a few weeks or months or maybe even next year, when someone is thinking about having a party, they will have you in mind because 1, you are posting on social media, 2, you're showing them all the different things that you can do, and 3, you're feeling confident by posting those pictures. So if I had to rank what I find is the best way of doing things, whether it's social media or word of mouth or just having the visibility on my road, I would say definitely posting on social media, more so on Facebook, either using my business page or posting onto the community pages as well, and then making sure that I tag myself. So that way any of my local friends and family, by tagging myself from my business page, it'll make sure I get some more eyes drawn into my post. And word of mouth would be coming in second, because you have to get those people first to your roadside flower stand. And then once they see how beautiful your work is, the amazing smells that local flowers have, and that you're consistently open, they might maybe share a picture, or someone might go by and they might ask, hey, where did you get those flowers from? And then they can refer you. So I would just say, just keep being consistent. Don't get nervous if you're starting a roadside flower stand and only maybe 2 or 3 people show up, because that is how I was. When I first opened up, I think I had 5 mason jars with some lisianthus and some of my hydrangeas. And of course, my first customer was my mom. And then I might have sold one to my mother-in-law and a neighbor. And I sold 3 my very first time, and I call that a win. Being consistent, I would maybe have 5 one week, 7 the other week. And then by the end of last year, I had all of my summer crops going. I think I had like 18 out at one point. And you know what? Sometimes you don't sell all of them out, and that is totally fine. I have an elderly gentleman that lives in the neighborhood that if I have something left over, we give it to him so he can give it to his wife. I will bring them to my work. It's a great place to advertise as well. So if you want, you can always make an arrangement for yourself, have your business logo, see if you can put it at the front desk. Sometimes I'll have it in my classroom. That always catches parents' eyes as well. Trying to find new places to leave them is kind of like where I want to start working on, maybe for next year. But regardless, as long as you can get your flowers out in front of people, hopefully they will be able to come and find you at your roadside flower stand. So if you're just starting out, don't feel like you need this big marketing budget. Most of my customers have come from simply by me showing up consistently, posting regularly, and growing quality flowers. And that is what people want to come back for. So if you would like to stay tuned on my roadside flower stand journey, I have lots of stuff happening this year, and it's only the beginning of July. Make sure you hit like and subscribe and hit that bell button, and I will see you all next time. Happy gardening.